G'day folks, welcome back to Pete's Investing. It's the 16th of July 2024. We've had a big weekend for various reasons if you haven't been following the news. But also here we've got natural gas and BOAL have dropped slightly since our last update. UNG has moved sideways and KOLD has risen slightly since our last update. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and also support us more on the Patreon page for regular updates on other shares that are bullish. In terms of our heat map, you can see here on the top right, we've got natural gas, BOAL and KOLD is predominantly neutral on the monthly time frame, and UNG is bearish. On the weekly, BOAL and KOLD are bullish, and neutral on UNG and bearish on natural gas, and predominantly bearish on the daily time frame on all those instruments. In terms of trading, we look at the direction of the higher time frame to trade. So if you're trading on the daily, we trade in the direction of the weekly time frame, or if you're trading on the intraday, we trade in the direction of the daily. In terms of entering the trade, we wait for a fresh breakout from the CCI 150 moving averages, and we close the trade when the CCI 150 enters back into those moving averages. So first looking at natural gas on the monthly, it's actually broken down into those moving averages of the CCI 150, giving us a neutral positioning. You can see there the price is also below the moving averages of the price chart. On the weekly, we're neutral. The CCI 150 is broken into those moving averages, and likewise on the price chart you can see it's actually broken down. But on the daily we're showing a bearish signal on both the CCI and the price chart, with giving us bearish movement. So if we go to the hour chart, again using the daily as a reference, we only take short trades from that point there when it broke below the moving averages of the CCI 150, and that coincided with about the 20th of June, which is going back to this area here on the hourly. So you only take short trades on the hourly or the intraday time frame. So that would have been a nice little trade there. Close it out when it enters the moving averages of the CCI or the price. Another entry there. Again, you might have closed it out there on the CCI, or if you hung on to it following the price action, you might have closed it out on that little rise there. That would have been probably a little false break or a break even entry. Then another entry down there, and so on right down to the bottom. You'd still be in a short positioning at the moment. Actually, no, you wouldn't. You'd be closing out the trade because the CCI is broken into that moving average band. So if you entered it back here, you would have made some nice little profits, probably breaking out there, another entry there. So again, just wait for this to break to the downside. Now that could be a bullish divergence. You can see there it's almost a double bottom on the price versus higher lows on the CCI. I'm not going to mark it as a divergence yet. I'd like to see this drop a bit further before to make it fully compatible with a divergence reading. Now notice also it's broken below this support line we had drawn previously at 22.86. I've got no other supports to show you at this point, but also another thing to notice as well for those new to the channel, we had a bullish divergence here versus lower lows on the price. That's what I've drawn here with this Fibonacci, and that rose and hit our minimum target range, and the target range I've always identified with the 23 and a 38% level, hence identified by that little rectangle. So we always draw it from the lowest point to the previous high before that divergence started in terms of Fibonacci ranges. Next, looking at BOAL. Now this is showing a pretty bearish signal on the monthly. There's no CCI in the monthly chart. On the weekly, it's showing a bullish divergence on the CCI versus lower lows on the price, and you can see that it's actually fallen lower than that previous low. So that's not a positive sign. It's very bearish at the moment. And likewise on the daily, you can see there we had a bullish divergence here. It made a bounce, and that hit that 23.31% target area, bounced off that resistance we had it drawn at 24.69, and now it's finally broken through this 12.28 support level. And again, no sign yet of any further support at this point. If I go to the hourly chart, if you're trading on the intraday, again taking only short trades from around the 26th of June, and that would have been from around this area here. That would have been a nice little short trade to take. You can see there it fell below the CCI, but also below the moving averages. Then it started bouncing. We did have a bullish divergence here. It's a bit hard to see, but that's higher lows there versus lower lows on the price. Now in this case, it actually didn't work. It didn't hit the 23% target. Instead, it kept falling further. Now, you could argue that's still a bullish divergence because we've got lower lows and higher lows on the CCI. So that could still be a bit of a bounce coming up in the coming hours or even days. So keep an eye on that. Next we're looking at KOLD. There's no CCI on the monthly, although the price chart is broken above the moving averages. On the weekly, again, we did have a bullish divergence here, higher lows on the CCI versus lower lows on the price, and it actually did bounce quite substantially from there. That was a very weird Fibonacci retracement level, but that's the 23% up there, hasn't quite reached that yet. The CCI is still rising though. On the daily, it actually was in a bit of a downtrend for a number of months since the start of the year, but it's actually broken through the CCI moving averages and making some pretty strong upward movement. It's actually broken above this resistance at 52.10, and again we'll wait for further clarification before we set another resistance area. If we go to the hourly chart, again using the daily as a baseline, only taking long trades from that point on, from about the 27th of June, which happens to be around this area. So that would have been a nice long trade to take getting into it and closing it out when the CCI breaks into that moving average. Another long trade there. That would have been a minimal gain. But notice now we've got a bearish divergence, lower highs on the CCI versus higher highs on the price. We did actually draw a target here, but notice again the that divergence is still valid. If I was to draw that and pull it out to that area. So we're getting new highs, and if I was to recalibrate that Fibonacci, so a new target area, assuming it starts pulling back and retracing from where it is at the moment, is going to come back to about the 23-38% level. So always wait for confirmation for a bit of a break to the downside. That was a little bit of a false break below the CCI before the moving average is there, but I'd like to see it break a lot lower. In this case, that's the minimum target we expect on the 1 hour time frame. And lastly, we look at UNG. This is bearish on the monthly. Both the CCI and the price chart are broken below the moving averages. On the weekly, we did have another bullish divergence here, higher lows on the CCI versus lower lows on the price. This one actually hasn't bounced too substantially. It's actually quite a small bounce, but now it's coming back down towards this previous low. And on the daily, you can see there it's actually broken below the moving averages and it's been bearish now. Now, in this case, you probably want to wait for this to break below these moving averages of the CCI to take any trades on the daily time frame. It's a bit risky sometimes going for these trades counter trend to what the higher time frame is doing. But having said that, if we look at the 1 hour chart, again using the daily as a reference, you would have started taking short trades on the 1 hour time frame from the 25th of June, which happens to be about that point there. So that would have been a nice little trade to take until such time that it broke into the moving averages. Now that started going long on the CCI, and that would have been where you exited near the bottom of that little price movement there. But notice we've got another bullish divergence here, the higher lows on the CCI versus lower lows on the price. Now I won't draw a Fibonacci on this one, I'll just extend the trend line. But you can see there we've got a higher lows on the CCI and lower lows on the price. So we want to wait for that to start bouncing significantly before we start drawing any Fibonacci divergence targets. So hopefully you got something out of the video. Hit that like and subscribe button. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.